As gun sales reached record levels this year, NewsNation is working to get to the bottom of what's behind the rise. Joining us tonight to discuss the recent trend is the founder of PAX Group and former FBI agent Phil Andrew. Mr. Andrew, thank you for joining us.
Glad to be with you tonight.
So there are two major things going on in 2020, right? The pandemic and the election. Do you think that both of these things are factors in gun sales?
Yeah, without question, every election, particularly presidential election year, we see a surge in gun buying, largely due to industry messaging around the potential for regulation. In truth, that hasn't happened in really the last 16 years. Every time we've had a turnover in administration, it hasn't resulted in any gun confiscations or any really serious change in regulations. The fact is that the Supreme Court has spoken, and the Second Amendment and its interpretation of it is the law of the land. And it doesn't matter what election takes place, the individual right to own and bear a firearm, it can't be regulated.
And what about the pandemic? What role do you think that plays?
I think that the pandemic plus the civil unrest has added to a lot of social anxiety, which I think also plays into people's fears. And that's another thing that the industry in this cycle has really been able to advantage, even when they had cut back on production and actually were looking at a glutted market as we moved into that. So they had to retool and reorganize to try to meet this demand. And as has been cited, they're about 18 months behind.
So you mentioned that every election year gun sales go up. So what do you think is different about this election year? Do you think it's mostly the messaging of the industry and the gun lobby?
Well, I think it's the combination between the pandemic and the civil unrest. But we do see that pattern every year. I think really what's different about it is that the Supreme Court has heard a number of cases, and we really settled into some clear precedent on what the Second Amendment means, which requires really allows for some predictability as to what takes place next, and that tends to be irrationally leveraged by the industry to support gun sales.
And we also heard one of those gun shop owners, and we've also heard anecdotally gun shop industry people say that first-time gun owners are accounting for a significant portion of recent sales. What do you attribute that to?
Yeah, well, no question. Again, that is the factor of civil unrest and the pandemic. But because a year ago we were actually looking at seasonal surge, but lower gun sales due to the fact that there are already so many guns out there that it was mostly folks that already owned 5 to 7 guns that were buying another gun. This year, we see a trend where there are new gun buyers, which creates its own challenges. Those new gun buyers, and particularly first-time gun buyers, they need to be trained. They need to understand the risks and the inherent responsibilities of bringing guns into their homes. And what we see is a surge in then thefts of firearms being stolen from people's cars, accidents, and suicides. And right now, the suicides in this country by firearm are one of the leading causes of death. And we've seen record numbers of suicides in all categories.
Definitely an important point and something worth following up on. Mr. Andrew, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
My pleasure.